Boom! This is it. This is the video that's going to put it all together. How to work out your metabolic base rate. How I work out my metabolic base rate. How do we put it together? What macros make out an average day? What calories I need to follow? How much protein I need to have? How do we make up the rest of it? Do I need to eat this stuff day in and day out? What do I need to do to hit that plan of being the shape and size and possibly strength, probably not, of the Gymshark athlete? This is what's all going to be done into today. I am excited. I'm excited to make it going. I'm excited to help you. I'm excited to help myself. I'm excited to tell you. I seem really overexcited. I seem really over exaggerated. But I am genuinely excited. It'll be fine. Douche. Okay, so let's break this down from the very beginning. You'd have probably heard by now, if you're into dieting or healthy living or trying to improve or watching athletes and all that sorts of stuff, about something known as a calorie surplus or a calorie deficit. Calorie surplus, calorie deficit, but what does it all mean? And a calorie surplus of what? And a calorie deficit of what? You need a starting point to know what to come under, or you need a starting point to know what to go over if you're trying to put on muscle and stuff. So that's what this video is going to be about today. I'm going to talk to you about your metabolic base rate. How do you work out your metabolic base rate? How I worked out my metabolic base rate, and then how we know how many calories to eat under or over depending on training or what you want to achieve and what your goals are. So this is the start of understanding how calories work. So to work out your metabolic base rate, you do need to know a few things. One is that there's a couple of ways that you can work out your metabolic base rate. I'm going to go through a system that just gives you a quick number and then you go from there, knowing that it might be off a little bit, but it's a base rate to go by. The other way is to go through trial and error. You weigh yourself, then you eat an X amount of calories a week, you weigh yourself again, you eat the same amount of calories again for a week, you weigh yourself again, and if the scales haven't moved, then you know that's kind of your metabolic base rate calorie intake, and that's what you should be taking. If they go up, then you're eating too much. If they go down, you're eating too less, etc. But that's a lot of trial and error for something that I just want to understand now, and I want to have the process sorted now. So the way in which I'm going to show you is you just need 3 factors that you have to know before you start with. One is your age. You should know your age, right? Okay. Second is your height. You do need to know your height. So if you know it in feet, that's great, but you need to know it in centimeters. So get on an app and then just convert it into centimeters and make sure you understand it in centimeters. And then last one, you do have to know your current weight in kilograms. So if you know it in pounds or stones, that's fine, but then convert it into kilograms and then we are ready to go. And to get in that information, I'm going to talk you through what information you need to put in to work out your standing metabolic base rate, which gives you the amount of calories that you need to live each day. So what we're trying to work out is if you did nothing at all and you just had one of your rest days, or you didn't do anything in that particular day, how many calories do you need to survive and function properly? That's what your metabolic base rate is. That's what we're trying to work out so that we can then again focus on the surplus or deficit depending on our goals. Okay, so this is where we get into a little bit of maths equations, and this is where we get into working out formulas to work out your metabolic base rate. It's not hard. I'll show you exactly what we should do and I'll talk you through it, but we need to have a concept of it. So I'll split it into 3 parts. Okay, so the metabolic base rate formula that we're using is the Harrison-Benedict formula. Some people say that there's better things that you could do than this, but it just gives an instant result, and I said it gives you a vague idea of what we're trying to achieve. So that's the formula that we're going to be using. Part 1 of the formula, and I promise you, do not be put off by the mathematics of it. I promise you it's easy. I promise you we'll talk through it and I'll make sure that we understand it. I just want you to have a vague idea of what I did so that I knew what my standing point was. So the first thing we need to do is 13.75 times your weight in kilograms. And then we take that answer and then we plus 66.5 to it. That's it. So for me, it's 13.75 times 115 kilos. It's a lot, isn't it? 115 kilos. It's literally why I'm doing this though, so that'll be fine. So work out that, and then that's the first part done. So mine is simply 13.75 times 115, because that's my weight. And then as to get the result, and then plus 66.5. So for me, the first part of this is 1647.75. And that's the first part. So keep that to one side, keep your number to one side, and we'll use that again later. Again, just stay with me. I promise you it will be okay. Okay, then the next part is all about your height. So this is 5.003 times your height. Now I'm 6'1", so in centimeters I had to work that out, and it's 185 centimeters. So that's simply 5.003 times 185. And 5.003 times 185 is 925.56. So that's the second part. Again, we'll keep that to one side, and I promise you we're nearly there. And it's not much more than this, but we just have to make sure we keep a note of these figures. Okay, and the third part has to do with your age. So this is your age times 6.755. My age is 37, so that's 6.755 times my age, which is 37. So the third part, 6.755 times 37 is 249.9. That's the third and final part done. That's all you need. That's all you need is those three figures, and then we put it into the final formula at the end now. That's it. That's the three parts done now. So all we need now is to put them into a basic formula, which is first part plus the second part minus the third part, and that gives you your metabolic base rate calories, and that's it. That's all you need to know. And if from that moment on you know that those amount of calories is what you need to survive on a day. So for me it's 1647.75 plus 925.56 minus 249.9, and that equals for me 2,323 calories. That means on a daily basis, if I do nothing at all, if I barely move a bone in my body, and those are great days sometimes, then I need 2,323 calories to survive, and I won't put on any weight, and nothing will change, but that's what I need to survive. So that is my basic metabolic base rate. Okay, so now is the fun part from this. You've worked out your metabolic base rate, you've worked out how much you need to survive. Now we need to work out how many calories that we can eat if we're busy. So if we are, say, doing some just like really low amounts of activity a week, and it's just really, really low, then we times that number by 1.2. If we're doing some exercise, maybe once, twice a week, then we can times that by 1.375. If we're doing adequate, quite a bit exercise per week, then we could times that by 1.55. And if you're training like a demon and you're training like every day or 5 to 6 days a week, then you want to change that number or times that number by 1.725. So here's my calories here of what I can eat and consume. Again, these are just to survive. This is just your metabolic base rate to survive if you're doing these activities. So you can see if I work out like an absolute crazy person and I train 6 days a week, then I can eat 4,007 calories and just stay the same. How many calories am I eating to get as big as I am? That is mental. That is mental. Or I'm just not doing any exercise. That's probably, I'm just not actually moving at all. It's definitely that. Damn it. Okay, so we're starting a new chapter anyway, so we know we have understanding of science now, we have understanding of how things work a little bit more, so it's going to make the next stages better. But the next question is, how many calories do I need to be under, so in that calorie deficit, to make sure that I do lose pounds of fat? Because that's what we're after, isn't it? No matter how active we are, let's make sure that we're eating the right amount to stay underneath, to lose the fat that we want to lose. So a pound of fat is about 3,500 calories. That's what's in a pound of fat. So if you add a calorie deficit of about 500 calories a day, then at the end of the week you'd have done 3,500 calories, as a deficit, so therefore you're going to lose a pound of fat. So you'll lose a pound of fat every week without fail if you are 500 under, however your activity level is, wherever you got your calorie metabolic base rate up to. Now, if you're thinking, well, a pound of fat isn't that much, I want to lose way more than that, then you're undervaluing how much a pound of fat actually is. A pound of fat is a lot. It's a lot of weight to lose. And if you did that consistently over a long period of time, you're going to feel much, much better for it. And if you just drastically, if you think to yourself, well, I'm just not going to eat any calories, I'm just going to have 1,000 calories less, I'm going to be in a calorie deficit of 1,000 calories every single day, then yeah, you're going to lose a lot of weight very, very quickly. But then your body adapts. Your body hates things like that. It's going to adapt. It's going to think, I tell you what, I think you're trying to kill me. Something's not quite right here, so I'm just going to protect myself as best you can. And then as soon as you start eating more calories, it's already adapted to that 1,000 calorie less, and you're just going to put on weight again. And that's how people yo-yo, and I say people, I mean myself, that's how people yo-yo up and down all the time. And it's not good for your heart, it's not good for your other organs, it's certainly not good for your digestive system or metabolic rate. So it's going to be slow and steady wins the race if you're looking for a calorie deficit to lose that fat, to lose that weight that you're trying to lose. So for me, I'm looking for about 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day, depending on how busy I am that day, depending on how much I've trained that day, depending on how much I've exercised that day, how much resistant training I've done, if I've done any cardio. I think I know the answer to that already before we've even done anything. And what my achievement is for that day. So if I average it between 2,000 and 2,500 for per day, then I know I'm pretty much on target to have the body composition that I want at the end of 6 months, and then probably at the end of 12 months as well. And be looking for an even out. So if I know I've done 2,800 calories on a day, then I might do a little bit less the next day. And it's just going to need to even out roughly over the week or so. So what I'm going to go through now is what an average daily diet might be if I'm being proper healthy as I can be for, you know, my digestive system and organs, and trying to make myself as healthy as I can, as well as being at calorie deficit, as well as eating the calories that I want. So on to now a full day's eating, and I'll explain about the macros as well. Douche. Okay, so it's in the kitchen here, so this is what I want to talk to you about in terms of my daily food intake of what I have been and what I will be doing. First of all, I like to start off my day with nutrient dense food, so high calorie, high nutrients, high protein, good amount of carbs as well to set that day right. Some days I'm planning to do some early morning runs. Planning's a strong word. Anyway, I might do some early morning runs, and I'll come back and then I'll eat this afterwards. So that breakfast is going to consist of porridge and a protein shake like this. Douche. 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 Some water. Microwave. Okay, and douche. Coconut oil. Douche. And chia seeds. Douche. Chocolate protein. Douche. Mix it up. Mix off with blueberries. Douche. 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 Okay, so that little delight has much benefits of food. You've got the coconut oil for extra fats in there, as well as a sprinkle of chia seeds, but a little bit of protein powder in the porridge just for flavour, not necessarily for the extra protein content. It's just to make the porridge not taste specifically just of porridge more than anything else. Okay, so that it builds up to, in total for the protein shake and the porridge, in total is 550 calories. So straight away in the morning, 550 calories, done. That protein content is about 68 to 70 grams of protein. It's just a big hit of protein there, which is good. It's about 56 grams of carbs, and then about 9.6-ish grams of fat, probably about 10 grams of fat. So starting off your day well, nice and full, good nutrients, high protein, high carb in there, meeting the necessary standards that we need just to get on with a good solid day. Then next meal, we're looking at, for me personally, I want to have some chicken. I like chicken. I don't like it on its own, so I like to have it encompassed with good nutrients as well. So I'm going to have a chicken wrap. So I'm going to cook a chicken breast, put it into a wrap, add in some veg, add in some salad, make it nice and creamy with avocado. Boom, job's a good one. It tastes amazing. Like this. Douche. Douche. Douche.
About that time, I was really getting.
So, in this absolute delight, and I cannot stress to you how nice this actually is, in this absolute delight, we've got about 500 calories, about 502-ish calories to be precise, but about 500 calories. There's about 40 grams of protein. It's a big quality protein as well from the chicken breast. There's about 40 grams of carbs, and then about 18 grams of fat, mainly from the half of the avocado that's thrown in there. It is absolutely beautiful. It's good quality calories, and I cannot swear by this enough how lovely it is. Okay, so for the next meal, which is meal 3, I have another wrap again. I have exactly the same thing again. So the other half of the avocado, the other half of the pepper that we have on the side, you know, a bit more cucumber, a bit more the tomato, a bit more spinach, another chicken breast. I was going to do another video montage of that, but I've literally just done one, so just watch that again. So for a dinner that I'm trying to push for more than normal will be a fillet of salmon with some asparagus. So asparagus is a good dilute of water, so make sure you drink lots of water when you're having this sort of diet, when you're eating this sort of food. But salmon and asparagus is going to be my main staple of dinner, like this. Okay, so in that salmon dinner, salmon and asparagus, we're looking at about 300 calories-ish of good quality calories though. There's no wasted calories in there. Everything is useful for the body. There's about 37 grams of protein-ish. It's about 4 grams of carbs, really low carb. You know, it doesn't have to be, it just happens to be this one is. And then you're looking at around about 13 grams of fat, all healthy fats though, that we're having throughout. Okay, and then lastly, to finish off the day is just another protein shake. Douche. So that protein shake that I have, depending on the brand, has different qualities in it, but this one is, we're looking at 182 calories for 2 scoops of that whey, which is about 34 grams of protein for this particular brand, about 5 grams of carbs, 5.5 grams of carbs, and then only about 2.8 grams of fat, so just under 3 grams of fat, just to finish off these days. So by the end of the day, I'm having 2036 calories, I'm having 219 grams of protein, about 150-ish grams of carbs, about 146 I think it is, and then about 62 grams of fat. So this is going to be the majority of my days, not every day by any means at all, but you know, majority of my days. So that's the daily menu. Douche. Okay, so now that we know how to work out a metabolic base rate and we know what we need to do to be in a calorie deficit, it's all on me now. It doesn't matter what we have, just know how many calories that we can have. So next time I'm going to go through some exercise stuff with you, what I'm doing. Let's go through some boxing, let's do some bodyweight stuff and see how far I can push it, and if I can help you and if you can help me, let's not forget that. Then again, like and subscribe and we'll carry on this journey towards it all. Cheers.